I wanted to just take this opportunity to talk to the public about law enforcement officers and let people know that they're people just like anyone else. Initially, my husband, when I would tell him, people are afraid of you, he'd ask why. And I said, I don't know, I think it's you're a cop and you look so, stoic and not as approachable as other people. And he said, I'm just a man, and I put my pants on one leg at a time. I put my shirt on one arm at a time. I just wear different clothes than other people. So I just am here to let you guys.
Susan, tell us about your husband. How did he start in law enforcement? What did the job mean to him? And how would you like him to be remembered?
Well, Dan came from a firefighter family, and he had his dad really would have liked him to be a firefighter, but he had much more love for the law enforcement, so he decided that he would do that. Originally, he had a friend who was going to test with him, and he wanted to go through the academy with that friend, and last minute that friend decided he wasn't going to go, and Dan made that commitment stay, though, and he said, I'm going to go ahead and test. And he did, and he was successful in getting into law enforcement.
Have you had any contact with the family of the Placer County Sheriff's detective who lost his life?
We have not connected yet. I think it's so fresh, that both of us are focusing on our families, because that would be the most important right now, and I'm sure our families will grow to extend their families, but we haven't done that yet. As an officer, he was someone who really sought to help communities. Last night, the only television I've watched so far was The Vigil, and how kindly everyone spoke about him. And that was the only media I've watched, but I think they said it well. He really cared about them, and he made sure he answered their emails, and he called them, and if there was a problem person in the community, he wanted to make sure to address that and not forget about them. And he really didn't mind going to the meetings where all the community came out. He found an opportunity to continue to help them and get input. So can you repeat the second part of the question?
Describe the qualities of your husband as a family man.
As a family man, he's a very caring person to our two children and myself, very supportive of anything and everything we've ever done. He worked out with my husband. My husband worked out with my daughter regularly in CrossFit, so that they could both, gain better quality of life by exercising. They made the commitment. He was very committed to our youngest daughter, who is at a very crucial age as a junior high student, and he found time to focus on her education and making sure that she had everything she needed. Dan grew up in Del Paso Heights, went to Grant High School. He saw a lot of not okay things happening in the community, and I think he always wanted to get out of that environment and make those environments better at some point. So I think seeing that on a daily basis influenced him. It also allowed him to understand people, and he was very street smart for growing up in an area like that, and I think that's what made him such a great officer.
Did he ever talk with you about his fears while on duty? And if so, what did he share?
He never said he was afraid of dying or anything like that. He always said, you always have to have a little fear, otherwise you're not going to see the things around you that could hurt you. So he always felt like being a little fearful all the time was helpful, but he never feared being there or running to an incident. It's always, when someone fires a gun or something like that, our instinct as an individual is to run away, and the instinct of an officer is run towards it, which goes against everything that seems like it would or should be occurring.
How would you want your husband to be remembered?
Just as an amazing person.
Where were you when you found out about what happened to your husband?
I was actually out of town. I was in San Diego at a conference, and I want to thank the San Diego Police Department for being so assisting in getting me to the airport and treating me with the utmost respect.
Is there a recent family memory of yours that embodies the kind of person Danny was?
I mean, there's so many memories, but something that I think about is when the incident happened in Roseville, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. You know, we're driving on our family vacation, and it's killing him because he knows there's a shooting and officers are involved, and he keeps looking at me because he so badly knows that the family's important. But at some point I said, "We're going home, aren't we?" And he said, "Yeah," and we got on the freeway and turned around.
What is the last interaction or memory of your husband you would like to share with us?
My husband and I always said, "I love you," before we hung up, and the last interaction I had was he was telling me he built my chicken coop so I could have eggs, and that he loved me. Okay. Thank you.